Ew.
Welcome, everyone, to the 12th Horseshoe podcast, sponsored by Prova, an Italian eatery in Moonachie, New Jersey. Jack Rizzo, Elijah Weintraub. We recap week 18 of the National Football League, and that is it, folks. The NFL season has come to a close, the regular season at least. All the games are done, and now we're heading on to Super Wild Card Weekend. We will have those picks for you on Friday's show. A lot to break down and talk about here, but first, Jack, how are we doing today?
Yeah, Eli, season's over. Thank goodness for my sake. We'll see how the postseason goes, Eli. There's 14 really good teams in, and we'll see who the Super Bowl champion is on February 9th. It should be a good postseason, though. Ready to ride.
All right, let's go ahead and start breaking down these games. First off, the Ravens, they took care of business with the Browns, who I thought would be the upset, or not even close here, even with the starters resting. It turned out to be a Ravens victory, 35-10. Big win for them on Saturday, and now they have the number 3 seed and are locked in for sure to have at least one, potentially 2 home games.
Well, Eli, if we had more time on our show on Friday, I would have addressed this because, to be honest, I don't know what you were thinking picking the Browns to win this game. But
Well, because Jack, all the starters were resting, so I thought we would see a sloppy Ravens team.
Not
But
for
no,
not for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson was going to play the whole time. He played the whole game, and so did Derrick Henry, and so did their defense. So I knew the Ravens were going to win. I guess you forgot that the Ravens starters were starting, but yeah. Ravens won easily, Eli. No doubt here. Derrick Henry is crazy, and they're going to be a team that nobody wants to play in the postseason.
The Bengals, they took care of business with the Steelers, however, are eliminated from the playoffs. The Steelers lock in at the 6th seed, and we're going to have an AFC North battle in the Super Wild Card weekend as they will take on the Ravens in Baltimore on Saturday. That game exclusive to Prime Video. Bengals did put up a big game. Really good effort there for Joe Burrow and stuff, and I believe the defensive coordinator got fired as of the coaching carousel as it has begun.
That's right, Eli. We're going to get into this a little bit more later. The Bengals did fire DC Lou Anarumo. Also, forgot to mention earlier that the Browns fired OC Ken Dorsey along with a couple of other of their assistant coaches. But this is a surprise to me, Eli. I don't really think it's his fault. I know the Bengals defense was horrible this year, but I think you got to more so blame the GM because the GM gave him just a horrible defense to work with. I'm not sure what he was supposed to do. I mean, keep in mind, Eli, this is a Bengals defense that has shut down Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs multiple times throughout Lou Anarumo's tenure. He's gotten head coaching looks from some teams, and I was shocked about this guy, but I think whoever picks him up, I think he's going to get another chance as a defensive coordinator somewhere around the league, and I think he's going to capitalize on it and show why he's a really good defensive coordinator.
All right. We're going to move on along to the Commanders, who lock in at the 7th seed.
The 6th seed. No, the 6th seed.
Yeah, the 6th seed, right. 6th seed. They're going to travel to Tampa Bay, who has the 3 seed, shocking enough. That's going to be a great game. That's going to be on NBC, Sunday Night Football, which will be exciting to watch. 1 o'clock, they took a victory here against Cowboys, 23-19. Close one there. Commanders pull up on top.
You know, Eli, the Commanders are great. Obviously, they're a great story, but I just don't really know how much I trust them, honestly. Like, they just have too many close games. You know, they were struggling most of this game, and that was with their stars playing. Then they pulled all their starters third quarter. They brought Marcus Mariota, and he led the Commanders to a comeback victory, Eli. But the Commanders have had some real struggles the last couple of weeks, you know. And you go back and look at some games they played throughout the season and think, sure, they won 12 games this year, but are they going to be ready for the competition in the playoffs? Because Tampa Bay is a really tough first-round opponent that they have, Eli. So it's going to be interesting to see. But obviously, though, it's a great first season for the Washington Commanders, and congrats to them on the playoff berth. And just as you called it, Eli, although you actually gave them one less win than they had, so even you technically slightly underestimated the Commanders. They just really shot their ball.
It's pretty crazy to think about too. Next game we're going to talk about here, Jaguars lose to Colts in overtime, 26-23. I know we've been all waiting for this. It's why we all show up to the show today. It is now time for Jack's Colts rant for the final time this season. Jack, the stage is yours.
Well, first off, greeting, gentlemen. Greeting, swinging for the fences. Commanders looking shaky. I agree. Well, Eli, I'm simply too exhausted to give a full rant about the Colts
It's
this
okay. We
week.
have all day. You can go ahead and
No. I'm just
we
too
all.
exhausted.
That's why we have the viewers, Jack. We want to see the rant.
The Colts have taken too much out of me to be able to even give a rant. But thank God. You know what? This is all I'm going to say for the Colts. Thank God the season's over. I really hope these next 243 days go by really, really slowly so I don't have to watch the Colts on the field anytime soon.
Well, you could watch the Devils.
The Rangers have won 2 of their last 3, and the Devils, did they even win last night, the Devils?
Yes, they did. They won 3-2 against Seattle Kraken, Jack.
They set their 4-game losing streak. Unbelievable.
Whatever. Move along. Devils still the top of the leaderboard. Where are the Rangers?
No, the Capitals are actually better than the Devils, by the way.
Oh, whatever, Jack.
Yeah.
Moving along. I think that's what we got to do. Oh, before we move along, though, what are your thoughts overall that they're not getting rid of the head coach nor general manager? No changes there. The owner said that they're good to go to stay. What are your thoughts on that?
Another 8-win season next year. Yay, go team.
Miss the playoffs or make the playoffs?
Come on, Eli. Come on. Why would you ask that question?
Well, you never know.
Either way, we did before we move on, Doug Peterson was fired by the Jaguars this past week after another disappointing season. Trent Baalke, their GM, will remain as the GM. That should be an interesting head coaching job, Eli. A lot of young talent, a lot of cap space to work with. So we'll see who ends up taking the job down in Duval.
All right. Well, the Buccaneers, they took care of business over the Saints 27-19. A little close one early on. Buccaneers pull on top. They clinch the 3 seed. They'll host the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Jack?
I was so happy, Eli, at the end of the game when Mike Evans got to 1,000 yards. They called the perfect play, and it got to 1,000 yards. And I don't know anyone, Eli, who watches football who just does not love Mike Evans. He is just one of the best receivers we've ever seen play this game. 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. The only player to ever begin his career with 11 straight 1K receiving yards. Not even Jerry Rice could say that he did that, Eli. And Mike Evans still has plenty of great football left in him. He's without a doubt a first-ballot Hall of Famer. Absolutely unbelievable player, Eli. And the Bucs are a fun team. I think they're going to be good in the playoffs. That defense played really well down the final stretch of the season. So look forward to that. Justin Verlander to the Giants. So that must be baseball news. It should be good. I mean, Verlander's obviously all these, I'm assuming he's in his 40s now. So going to a pitcher-friendly park in San Francisco, that definitely should help him. It'll help that pitching staff in San Francisco.
All right. Well, no changes there. And we're going to go to the Packers now. They defeated the Bears. The Bears defeated the Packers by a field goal kick, 24-22. I'm happy. I really am. I thought that was happy. I thought that was funny that they're trying to warm up Jordan Love on the side. I don't trust this Packers team. I don't think they're going to go far in this playoff run.
I don't either.
I'm shocked to hear that one. I thought, Jack, this was your Super Bowl pick. What happened?
Well, sure, Eli, it's my Super Bowl pick, but does that matter? No, the Texans were my Super Bowl pick too, and I don't believe in them either. Hey, at least my 2 Super Bowl teams made the playoffs, so I'll give myself that. But man, Eli, I will say though, I am shocked because the Bears are 4-12. So you would think their fans would want a loss to improve their draft pick, but nope. All their fans were so happy that they won. But I guess to be fair, the Packers have just owned the Bears for pretty much the last 50 years. So winning a game over the Packers is like their Super Bowl. So, hey, congrats to the Bears, Eli. It's a culture-building win, and we'll see what the new head coach does out in Chicago with Caleb Williams.
Well, speaking of the NFL draft order, Titans at number 1. They will get the number 1 pick for the draft. Cleveland gets number 2, and the Giants get number 3. New England falls to number 4. Jacksonville at number 5. That's your top 5 draft order. That was determined after Week 18. And other news, Jack won the weekend picks 9-7. I won 8-8. We both went 2-1 on LSU, and we both tied for the whole year on Survivor. We'll get the overall stats of our final standings and scores at the end of the Super Bowl run. Meanwhile, moving along now, the Falcons, they lose in overtime to the Panthers, 44-38. Must-win game. Didn't happen because the Buccaneers did win, so that automatically eliminated the Falcons, but they did not win, so it did not make a difference either. They lost pretty bad in a bad fashion way, I guess you could say, in overtime.
Eli, one of the best stories in the second half of the NFL season was Bryce Young's turnaround. Came back from the benching, and the second half of the season, he was one of the better quarterbacks in the entire league. Just had a tremendous performance as Finley makes an appearance. But Bryce played incredible. This was his best game. 5 total touchdowns for him. Panthers won it in overtime, Eli. And I was right about the Panthers. I said they were going to only be like a 5 or 6 win team before the season, but you're going to see improvement from Bryce Young. And that's exactly what we saw. And now I'm excited to watch the Panthers next year, Eli. I think they're going to have a great offseason. And hey, maybe the Panthers will be a dark horse to win the NFC South next year. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, good point there. Patriots fired Gerard Mayo after they win to the Bills 23-16. A reason why? Well, if they would have won the game, lost the game, they would have held the number 1 draft pick. Instead, nope. They decided to beat Buffalo. Gerard Mayo gets fired, but still a bright and well-developed Patriots team upcoming for sure. Overall thoughts on this game, though?
Well, there is no doubt, Eli, who the next head coach of the New England Patriots is going to be. And of course, it's going to be Mike Vrabel. That's literally the only name out there that you can probably even think about hiring and that they are going to hire. Longtime player for them. Of course, the Patriots sold their draft pick, Eli. But at the same time, they're not going to take a quarterback in the draft. They have Drake May, who looked really good this season.
Right.
So they could opt for Travis Hunter or some other skill position. Maybe edge rusher Abdul Carter would be a good pick for them.
There's out there.
I will say, though, it was fun to watch Joe Milton out there on Sunday. Rookie from Tennessee, really big arm, really athletic. He played better than Anthony Richardson has in any game of his career. So give credit to Joe Milton. And, hey, Josh Allen extended his start streak to 115 consecutive starts. Came out for 1 snap, but, Eli, it's the longest active streak in the NFL. Still a ways away from passing Brett Favre. But, hey, I admire the effort for Josh Allen to get fully dressed into a uniform just to go out there and hand the ball off to James Cook one time, Eli. And by the way, James Cook finished the year leading the league in rushing touchdowns with 16 rushing touchdowns. And the Bills, Eli, the first and only team in NFL history with both 30 passing and 30 rushing touchdowns in a season.
Incredible stats. And speaking of the Bills, they have the number 2 seed. They'll host the Broncos 1 o'clock Sunday on CBS.
That's going to be a great game.
It will be a great game. Bo Nix did it for them. Let's go to the Texans, who defeated the Titans somehow, 23-14. Titans get the number 1 pick, so that helped with the Texans. They got a win. The Texans will host the Chargers on Saturday, 4:30 on CBS.
This was one of the emptiest I've ever seen a stadium, Eli. Tennessee clinches the number 1 overall pick. Earlier today, they announced that they fired their GM, Rand Carthen. Coach Brian Callahan will stay for this upcoming draft, but a disappointing year out in Tennessee. And Houston starters played for about a half quarter, then came out, but they got the win, Eli. But the Texans are not going far in the playoffs. They have too many injuries, and CJ Stroud's taken too far of a step back in his sophomore season. Yes, I was definitely disappointed in the Texans this year. I mean, they were my pick to win the Super Bowl.
They were,
and I know how high you were on them as well. I'm pretty sure you had them in the AFC Championship game.
I did, but I absolutely did. But again, injuries were a big issue and stuff, and
they were
tough competition. It really was. That's what it came down to at the end of the day. Really disappointed. Really wanted to see the Texans go far, but unfortunately, we're not going to have that. Hopefully, Jaden Daniels, though, pulls off that CJ Stroud rookie year that he had and pulls it off this year. Maybe go far in the playoffs. We'll see it.
And another thing to keep in mind, Eli, the Texans they were 5-1 against the AFC South, which is by far the worst division of football, but they were 5-6 elsewhere in the AFC. So it just shows, maybe that their record isn't even that great because they've just beaten so many bad teams.
Correct. All right. Well, next game, Giants. Well, they still lose. They lose to the Philadelphia Eagles 20-13. Philadelphia has a 2 seed. They host the Packers 4:30 on Fox Sunday. No other notes.
Well, you might not have realized, Eli, but there's actually a little bit of drama here in terms of rookies because Malik Neighbors briefly passed Brock Bowers for most catches in a season by a rookie pass catcher when he caught that long touchdown. But nice day for the Eagles, Eli. Good game from Tanner McKee. I like the way he played. By the way, Eli, Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol, so that's something to keep an eye on. Hopefully, he'll be able to clear it by Sunday's game. Otherwise, we might see an upset in Philly in round 1. But either way, really good performance from them, Eli. And the Giants announced today that both are they announced today that both Brian Daboll and Joe Shane are returning next year. Not the right decision, Eli. Daboll's okay. That's fine. But Joe Shane.
Both of them, though.
I don't hate Brian Daboll. I don't think he's a great coach, but I don't think he's a bad coach either. I mean, he did deliver. He did give the Giants their first playoff win in 11 years. So that was big.
The GM, I think he had to go. That was number 1. I think the GM had to go.
But he didn't.
No. Daboll, I think they're giving him too much praise. The fact that you gave him 3 quarterbacks to work with, Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito, and yet none of them worked for you. I mean, that kind of goes to show you that there's something wrong with this coaching, that there's something wrong with the rest of the team that also is not working as well, that should be working. So, I mean, don't give all the praise, I think. I mean, the only big win he had was against the Colts and the Seahawks.
Exactly. Our two teams.
Our two teams. What a shock there. Moving along, though. Cardinals. They beat the 49ers. 47-24. Of course, the meaningless game. They win it like that. Incredible.
Well, Eli, the Cardinals finished right about where I expected them to. I had the Cardinals at 9 wins, like showing some steps forward this season. They certainly did. Now, is Kyler Murray the guy to take the Cardinals to the promised land? I don't think so.
No.
But I think they have the right coach in place. They have a lot of young talent in place. Marvin Harrison's only going to get better as he continues to grow as an NFL receiver. And it was just a nice showing from the Cardinals to close out their season with a dominating win and a sweep over the 49ers.
Indeed. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, they fired their offensive coordinator, and they will be they took a big victory over the Rams 38-25. Again, another meaningless win that does not matter. Of course, what does Seattle do? They want to win the game. And of course they did. They win that game 30-25. No surprise there.
Yeah, Eli, of course, Seattle, after being eliminated from the playoffs, they go out and win a game rather than get a better draft pick. Of course they do. But hey, Eli, 10 wins for a first-year head coach is not bad at all.
Yeah, and hopefully with the new offensive coordinator helps.
It's not common, Eli. It's very uncommon that 10-win teams miss the playoffs. The Seahawks are the first team in 4 years to miss the playoffs with 10 wins. The Miami Dolphins 4 years ago missed with 10 wins, Eli. But a nice showing from them, Eli. But a nice showing, too, from Jimmy Garoppolo and a lot of the Rams' backups. And the Rams are certainly going to be a team that nobody wants to face in the playoffs, especially with Matthew Stafford and his experience.
That's right. The Rams, they take on the Vikings on Monday Night Football on ABC and ESPN. That'll be a great game to watch. And it's going to be in SoFi. Pretty cool to see. Next, of course, the Jets win 32-20 over the Dolphins. Are we kidding me, Miami? Are we kidding me, New York? And the question now that's on everybody's mind is, will Aaron Rodgers be a New York Jet next year? Will he retire, or will he be at another team? Go for that question first, Jack.
You said
Aaron Rodgers, Jet, another team, or retire?
Retire. It's got to be.
It's got to be retire, I think, too.
Eli, we can talk about the Jets. We talk about Aaron Rodgers getting to 500. We can talk about how horrible the Dolphins look. But I think the most important thing from this game, Eli, is I got it right and you got it wrong. I told you the Dolphins don't win in cold weather. You should have listened to me.
Whatever,
Eli.
Jack.
Should have listened to me. The Miami Dolphins do not
Whatever,
win
Jack.
weather.
You're right.
Whatever. I mean, were you outside before Eli today? Do you know how cold it is out? Right? How cold
Again,
it is
today was colder than Sunday.
Sunday was like 30 though. The Dolphins can't win at anything below like 55.
Whatever, Jack. My question was about Rodgers.
I answered
it. I think he does retire. I don't think he returns to be in New York.
I agree.
I think it's over.
I agree.
This was 2 years. 1 year he got injured. The second year, this year, which was supposed to be a great year for him, was absolute opposite. It was a disappointment. And the fact that there's so many other quarterbacks out there that are doing fantastic, it's kind of sad to say, but he made Daniel Jones look good.
Yeah. By the way, Eli, I will say that we just had a significant development in terms of the Dallas Cowboys coaching situation because the Cowboys denied the request from the Chicago Bears to interview Mike McCarthy. So if they're going to deny the request for the Bears to interview their current head coach, Eli, that makes me think that Mike McCarthy will be back next season as the Cowboys head coach. What do you think?
That's what it seems like. I agree too. I think if that's what's going out there, then yes, absolutely, he's another Dallas Cowboy again.
All right, next up.
All right. Well, we got the Chiefs. They lose to the Broncos. 38. Zip. Nada. Nothing. A big donut. Nothing. Really? All their starters bench, and that's what the Chiefs do. Either way, I'm glad to see the Broncos in the playoffs. They take on
I am too.
The Bills. The Chiefs get a bye, which helps, and the number 1 seed. But again, no matter who the Chiefs play, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and I have a good feeling they're going to still make a great run in the playoffs.
Well, Eli, it was a phenomenal performance from the Broncos at home. They did everything they were going to. Bo Nix, I believe, hit his first 18 passes of the game. He had a phenomenal showing. Broncos defense pitched a shutout. We finished the 2024 season, Eli, with only 2 shutouts. How about that? That is such a low.
And the other shutout was?
Packers Saints on Monday night 2 weeks ago. Yep. It took us 16 weeks to even get a shutout. That's crazy. But overall, though, great win for the Broncos, Eli. They snapped their 9-year playoff drought. Eli, keep in mind, Super Bowl 50 was their last playoff game, as crazy as that may sound.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning was still in the league at that time. And now, Eli, with the Broncos with the Broncos losing, okay, the Jets still have the longest playoff drought in the NFL, but now the second
Heck,
longest playoff drought.
in North America, in the United States.
Exactly. Now the second longest playoff drought, we now have to go back to 2017, and it's two teams, both the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons, or those two are now tied for the second longest playoff drought in the NFL.
All right. Well, the Chargers, they defeated the Raiders 34-20. Chargers are going to take on the Texans in Houston, 4:30 on CBS. Raiders, they're out. They fire Antonio Pierce. Had to be done.
Had to be done. Well, I sort of agree, Eli, but the Raiders were given nothing. He was given nothing to work with. I think he was solid, but I understand why they fired him. I just personally would have given him like one more year, but I understand why they fired him. Ben Johnson could be a name to watch there, Eli, but a great win for the Chargers, Eli. Quentin Johnson at 186 yards receiving in this one. Brock Bowers officially broke the rookie record, most catches in a season for a rookie. Congratulations to him. And I'm excited to watch the Chargers in the playoffs, Eli. An 11-6 season for LA, and they're going to be a team that nobody wants to face in January.
And what was supposed to be the game of the week, kind of disappointed. The Lions defeated.
Kind of. Do you mean really disappointed?
Okay. Let me rephrase that then to help make Jack happy. The Lions defeated the Vikings and was really not a great game. What was supposed to be the best game was not really a great game. 31-9 the final. The Lions get the number 1 seed. They have the bye. The Vikings are going to have to travel to Los Angeles, a big trip ahead of them for Monday night. All I could say was, this is week 18. This game to me does not matter. We'll see about these teams in the playoffs. That's what I got to say.
I wasted 3 hours of my life watching this game. 3 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Well, you'll also watch the Seahawks and the Bears on Thursday night when the final score was 6-3, Jack. So
okay, well, at least
you waste too many hours watching football.
Well, to be fair, Eli, I had no expectations going into that game. I had expectations going into the Vikings Lions game. It just disappointed me, Eli. But if there's one thing that's true, Eli, Sam Darnold will not be the Vikings starting quarterback next season. They're going to, without a doubt, turn to their rookie JJ McCarthy next season. There's no way Sam Darnold can be back again next year. Yeah. I don't care how good Kevin O'Connell's made him look. When it comes to big moments, he doesn't play well. And we'll see how far the Vikings go in the playoffs, Eli. I would not be shocked if Minnesota goes one and done in the playoffs.
All right. Well, that will do it for us here. We will be back on Friday, time to be determined, for our Super Wild Card Weekend picks. We hope you join us then. From Jack Rizzo, I'm Elijah Weintraub. Go Seahawks, go Devils. Good night.